Okay guys, confession, I've been in a crazy funk. I think just the compounding of the last several years, particularly the last couple of years, just nonstop has really put my mind in places and shifted my motivation maybe a little bit that in a way that I've never experienced before. But I think I'm coming out of it. I think I'm kind of like moving through the space, and I've been doing some very deliberate things over the last several months to help me do that. And I want to start sharing those things with you guys for anyone, of course, who might be interested in going through the same sort of thing. I'll tell you first of all what my symptoms were, right? While I knew about things or was clear about what was important to me, I was lacking motivation. I was really sad. I would even venture to say depressed somewhat. And that was more associated with a lot of what I view as extremism, a lot of radicalization in this world, everything from healthcare to politics or whatever. I seem to be hypersensitive to that stuff. And it's not what I'm drawn to. Not only that, but I tend to greatly repel off of it. I'm such a one love, learn people's stories, human to human. I don't tend to follow along at all with mob mentality and get really engaged with that type of thing. I think could be, well, maybe sometimes it's used for good. It's often not at all used for good, and it just brings about more divisiveness. And so I tend to be a very moderate person and someone who just likes connecting with people, no matter where they're at. I just want to tell me your story, because just like that book, What Happened to You, instead of saying what's wrong with you, Oprah wrote the book with someone, I can't remember his name, and I apologize for that, but I'll post it up here so you can see. But anyway, just like that book, it really gives you revelations to see people and see humanity in a different way. It's not, again, what's wrong with you? What happened to you? And it's the same thing with me. Instead of going, what's wrong with me? Because that's, of course, the default. I kept going, what's the matter with me? What's the matter? This is so unlike how I am in my personality, and yet here I was, right? So what tools do we have? What do we do? I don't know. There's probably several different tools. I use several different tools, but in the general gist of it, I used nature, really. I'm very drawn to nature, obviously very connected to nature, and I use nature to help me restore, and I use it to help me revitalize and to connect and to really optimize my life. And the more deliberate I am about it, the better I feel, the more positive my outlook, the more results that I get, the more I draw in. And I'm really intent on drawing into my experience and what I do in business and just in my life. I really like to draw in like-minded people. Now, when I say like-minded, it doesn't bother me if people agree or disagree with my viewpoints. That's not what I mean by like-minded. I mean that like-minded in the respectfulness and compassion and just, I guess, bring more depth. I find that when people are very knee-jerk about things, it's very superficial, and again, just kind of follows along with mob mentality, right? And of course, I think this has been greatly exacerbated by what the media has done to everyone over the last couple of years in particular. But of course, because they want that, then you're more engaged in it, and then you're more outraged, and the more outraged, and the more emotional, and the more this, and the more that. The more money they make, the more you pay attention to that. So I'm like, what if we were to have a counterculture to that? What if there's something that's just a lot more positive and a lot more loving and a lot more caring and has a lot more compassion and way less judgmental? I'm starting to really see the light, the darkness that I felt a little bit overcome with at different times is starting to lift. And I feel as though I'm really starting with a clean slate. And I think all of us are, that we have this clean slate opportunity. If you were just say, that's it, I'm done. And that's the part I got to. I'm finished. I don't want to do this way anymore. Done. I don't even want to hear it. So now I get to say, okay, clean slate. what are my next steps? What do I want to look forward to? What do I want the next things to be? What's important to me? Who is important to me in my experience in this? You know, in other words, like the type of person, what do I want to draw into my experience? And that's really the only thing I've been focused on. So again, nature is very big. I get in nature a lot. I eat natural foods. I eat whole foods. I have a food forest, as you guys know. And, you know, just being in that is like tremendous for me, eating from there, just getting the vibration of that food, the freshness of it, really paying attention. We're very big into soil restoration. We're kind of like the hippies, I guess, really. You know, I appreciate the planet that I live on. I appreciate, you know, Earth's beautiful medicine that is here for us to really thrive off of. So food is a big part of it for me. And on a separate thing, which I'll talk about some other time, I've had some other frustrating things, like, and going through perimenopause and having this weight gain that's like, I eat fantastic, I exercise, I do all this, what's going on? Anyway, I'm going to talk about that in another video, but just to give it, again, some context of all the things that have been going on for me. And the reason I bring this out in video form is that I know a lot of people have been going through this too, because you've told me. And people that I speak to and reach out to have all told me and expressed this type of thing. So anyway, another thing I use very, very much, very deliberately, okay, are essential oils. And I use specifically Young Living's essential oils because I want the closest thing to nature as possible, right? So I'm not only in nature, of course, but I want the closest things to nature as possible, meaning I don't want all this like junk and fillers and all this stuff. But I use essential oils in a different way than a lot of people use them. I think in terms of the vibration of the plant, the energy of the plant, and what can that do in a symbiotic relationship potentially. Listen, if it's all the world according to Jihan, I'm fine with that also, because it works for me. I don't care. I don't care if it's placebo, because you know what? The placebo effect is one of the greatest effects ever discovered, okay? It's not a negative thing. It's a super positive thing. So I don't even care if it's that. So I think, again, just about the deliberateness of using them in the way that I'm going to talk about right now, which is for balancing, okay? I think that has really been one of my greatest shifts. I've been doing this for several months with certain ideas in particular. And the idea of it is to be not only grounding, but then also, you know, reaching into like going through the elements, right? So earth, water, fire, air, ether, and being able to connect to spirit or connect to God or whatever it is that you're connected to, whatever. Okay, so having that balance through the elements. So I use a lot of tree oils for that. And then of course I use the oils with the higher frequency, the higher vibrational oils. So I think an easy way to do this is, first of all, with the Roots and Wings collection, because first, again, you have the roots, you have that grounding. You want to put it on the bottoms of your feet. You could put them on your wrists. Okay, hold it there, smell it, make sure. When you're using oils, make sure that you always also take it in, allow the molecules to get into your brain, smell it. Oh, this is so good. Essential oils, Young Living's, absorb into the skin within a couple of minutes, through the whole body within 20 minutes. So really wonderful to use, not only topically, but also, of course, inhalation, getting that to the brain. So right away, I'm like, right? You can feel it. Like, I just want that like grounding, and just like a tree where it's rooted into the ground, but it has to have that strength and stability to reach the sky. It has to be able to withstand the elements. It has to be strong and stable, but also have flexibility, right? Those are qualities that I want. So I'm very attracted to tree oils for that reason, okay? And I use them, again, deliberately. I'm not just like, okay, let me throw them on and, you know, this smells nice and whatever. I'm very much into the vibrational qualities, the essence of the oils themselves. So the next one is wings, okay? So first you get that grounding, get that stability, you have your foundation, right? Your rooting, and then this allows you to soar. Now this is life in general, right? This allows you to soar. It allows you to spread your wings. It allows you to fly. So the wings are more higher vibrational oils that are in here, a blend, these blends of oils, by the way. And I like to put that on the top of my head. Okay, and again, because it's just this sense, even if it's just in my vision, that's fine, right? I'm envisioning this sense that it's now connecting me. I have this this balance through the elements, and I could stand strong, and I could be flexible, and I could connect to spirit, and I could get those, I call them the downloads, like allow God to speak through me, or universe, whatever you want to call it, you know, allow it to be spoken through me, to get into my heart, to get into my mind, to allow me to do things that maybe I would, or encourage me to do things that maybe I wouldn't do before. Maybe I need different ideas. So this like shifts my vibration. If I'm in this idea vibration mode and I want to go to this idea vibration mode, I need to shift it, right? I need to shift to meet that vibration. So oils I use for that. I also use food for that. I use nature, just getting in nature. I go for walks. All these things are what I use as tools to be able to do that. Now, if you don't have roots and wings, okay, and I'll leave a link so you could, in the description, so you could grab this if you want. But if you don't have that and you have other ones that to me are very similar in the concept I'm trying to get across here. You have Valor, which should be like your roots, and you have Sacred Frankincense. These are two great different oils that you could use for the same idea. Another thing would be Northern Lights Black Spruce, which of course this farm is under the Northern Lights, which I just think is awesome. Northern Lights Black Spruce, and then White Light. So again, White Light then up to here. Same thing with, you could use, say, Sacred Mountain and maybe White Angelica, right? There's lots of different choices for you to use that could give you similar kind of effect, and you know, really bringing that vibe. Like I'm looking for a certain vibe, right? The vibration, I'm looking for that vibe. The other thing I do is I write, and I write out what it is that I want. What is it that I desire? What do I see? Because again, I'm clean slate. So now I'm writing the script again. So what script do I want to see? What do I want to see in my career? What do I want to see in my friendships and my relationships in general? What do I want to see in my home? What do I want to see in terms of fun, right? This is a time where I'm like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun again. And so I'm very much conscious about that, and, you know, writing those things out, because when I write it, I bring it out of the ethers, right? So we're connecting to the ethers, but I'm bringing it out of the ethers and I'm giving it some earth. I'm making it a little more tangible. And then I start taking the actions towards doing those things. I've been doing this for several months now in my new, like, clean slate, whatever. And I have struggled a lot during the last several months, even though I'm doing this, okay? But I also had some very profound deaths over the last several months in my life. But I've been doing this still. I've been writing it out. I've been visualizing it. But what do I want? And I'd like to say I've been patient. I don't think I've really been patient, or I definitely could have been more patient than I've been. But nonetheless, I've been consistent. I just kept it up. And I will tell you, I am now, I feel like finally, you know, I'm now starting to reap the benefits of it. And I see that it's like almost like starting a steam engine, right? It just felt like it was taking so long. And now I'm finally getting that movement, but I needed to be consistent for quite a while in order for that to happen. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes it happens way more quickly, but it didn't seem to happen as quickly this time as I would have wanted it to, you know. And what I mean is just having like a shift, just having some sort of shift where you start to feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It took quite a while this time, which is not even like, I don't know, it's not even like my personality that tends to happen, but it's nonetheless, this is the way it was supposed to be, and I'm accepting it. And now I feel that shift, and I've, like I said, been very deliberate every single day in what I am thinking about, what I'm engaging with, using the oils, and again, deliberately using the oils in this way for this balance, getting into nature. What foods am I having, and what am I filling my mind with? Because that's a big thing. Like, what am I filling my mind with? If I start to see that again, I'm like, nope, out. And that has been, of course, one of the greatest gifts you could ever give yourself. It's certainly a great gift for me. That I've always been conscious of, like, I can't do that. I cannot engage with that. Anyway, try some of these things. Let me know in the comments if any of this has helped you, or maybe even just where you're at in life. I think I just kind of want to come on and talk about more about where I have been at and things that I have been doing. And it has not looked pretty. It has not looked perfect, but there's always something that we could do, right? There's always something. And I want to just be able to continue to share that and share my journey as I feel as though I'm working my way back to being restored. And I think I've needed that. I have felt a little bit broken. I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but I don't know. I don't know the right words. I just haven't felt right. And I'm starting to feel better. And I want to talk about my process in the hopes that maybe it'll help some of you, or maybe just you, and fine. If it could help anybody, I want to be that person, that catalyst that helps to maybe bring you to the next stage that you need. So anyway, link about all these things will be right here in the description, and I'll be back on helping you improve your quality of life like I'm working to improve my quality of life.